Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. It's kind of like I've had a shift around of my bedroom, so I've got a new filming background which I think looks quite cool. Let me know what you think, because I feel like I've had to experiment a little bit and move stuff around. But it's been quite a while since I've done like a proper sit down thing of like what I'm enjoying recently, and while the world's in, well, lockdown, I thought it'd be the perfect time to recommend some more Netflix shows, because what else are we going to do while we can't go anywhere? So I've had this list of shows for literally about a year now, and I've been adding to it and being like, yeah, I'm going to film this video. So we're doing it now. It's probably going to be split into two videos just because the list is ridiculously long and I don't want to sit and talk at you for like 40 minutes. So we're just going to go straight in. Talking about the first show, which is Making a Murderer. Like, if you're a Netflix user, you've got to have seen this show. It's just one of them where it's like one of the biggest documentaries on Netflix. And when it first came out, I was kind of like, is it a series about like making him into a murderer? Like, what is it? But everyone was talking about it. It's a documentary about a guy that's been framed for murder, and they're trying to get him out of prison, and the guy that's in prison is kind of not very intelligent and things, so it's kind of like they've manipulated him into saying things that he's not done. And it was really hard to see that in the documentary, that the cops had basically manipulated him and Brendan into saying things because they hadn't done it, and they were there going, well, what happened when you did this, and what was the next stage? And it was kind of hard. It was horrible. So Stephen Avery and Brendan are still in prison, and it's the second series focused more on his new lawyer that he'd got and how she was fighting for him to get out of prison and all the court stuff and like how his family were feeling. So it's a really sort of interesting watch. Like, I really enjoy documentaries, but I particularly enjoy crime documentaries. That is like my favourite type of documentary to watch. So I'll be watching again when the next series comes out. I don't know if they're doing the next series or whatever, but it might not be for a while because these things take time to develop. So that is my first recommendation for you to get stuck into. The second show, which I have recommended to quite a few of my friends actually because it's just so good, it's Atypical, and Keir Gilchrist, or Gilchrist, I don't know how you say his surname, plays a boy that's autistic, and it's so good because he isn't autistic in real life. So I was really, really impressed by his performance. Obviously, working with kids, you see children that have got these sort of needs, and seeing him act like that on a show when he doesn't have that need was so good. He's brilliant. And they're doing their last series, which is coming out, I think, is it next year? They've announced season 4, which is going to be the last season, and it's all about him trying to fit in, understanding relationships, understanding other people's feelings, and getting a job, and just sort of like living his daily life more independently. And I just think it's a really, really cute show. Brilliantly done. The cast are amazing. So that is one that I would highly recommend to you if you want a nice sort of chilled series, and it's not too full on, which I quite like sometimes. Number 3 is The Sinner. This show was absolutely brilliant. Like, season 1 had me hooked right from the first 5 minutes of the show. It's one of those shows that I can't really say much about, because if I do, it will just completely ruin the entire plot of the show. But what I can probably say about it is that something happens with the woman right at the beginning, and then she gets arrested, and then it's all about why this has happened. Is she guilty? Is she innocent? If she's guilty, why did she do it? Is there a reason for it? Because when you look at the woman in the show, she isn't that sort of person, so it's all about that, and it was so hooking. I think I watched the last 3 episodes back to back because I just wanted to know what was happening. Oh my god, it was so good. So then they announced season 2. Obviously, it was really, really hyped for that. Season 2, at first I have said season 2 was better, but then looking back, it actually wasn't as good as season 1. It was complete new characters, complete new plot and everything, so you don't really need to watch season 1 first. You can watch season 2, then watch season 1. And this one was about a child, so a young boy, that, again, it was something like a crime that he'd committed at the beginning, and it was the same sort of idea, but I just found that the show sort of lost it sort of in the middle a little bit, so it kind of went off a little bit and didn't keep me interested until sort of the last few episodes, and I don't really like it that much when shows do that, but it's still an interesting watch, and that's just me personally that say that these things. You might enjoy it more than series 1, you may enjoy season 2 just as much as series 1. It's down to personal preference, but it's on my list because season 1 was the thing that really drew me in, so I am recommending season 1 more than season 2. This is a cartoon that I really like, and I don't actually see many people talking about this, so I don't know if it's not that popular or whatever, but it's called F is for Family, and I sort of just stumbled across it when you sort of browsing Netflix and thinking what's like new in the Netflix chart thing that they do. And this is set in the 70s, and it's about the writer's life, or the creator's life, growing as his family. So he's put it into a cartoon. It's an adult cartoon, so it's got adult themes in. It's just him, his wife, and his 3 kids, and then it's revealed that they're going to have another child as well. And it's a comedy, like drama type thing. Imagine like if you've got a sitcom with the real actors, it's kind of like that, just in cartoon, and it's really good. It's honestly one of my favourite cartoons in a while that I've discovered, because my favourite cartoons are The Simpsons and South Park. They're like my favourite, so to find like another cartoon that I think is up there with like the plot and the characters and the storylines and things, amazing. So F is for Family, I would check that out if you're into cartoons especially, but also things in the 70s. It's pretty interesting to see it in a cartoon version. Number 5 I think we're on is 13 Reasons Why. So this might get a little bit of stick, but specifically 13 Reasons Why season 1. This again was based on the book, and it's about a girl who commits suicide, and then it's all about the tapes that she leaves for the people that has been the reason for her committing the suicide. Season 1 was really well done. I could really relate to this show just because of how people treated her in school and things. It spoke a lot to me, and I really think it should be shown to today's teens to see like how their words affect people. I haven't ever wanted to be like, in school commit suicide or anything like that, but it spoke to me on a level of these people said these things and this is how it makes people feel, and it was so well done, so well thought out, and it must have been so hard for the actress to play, like to film the suicide scene. I'm aware they took the suicide scene out now, but when I watched it originally it had the suicide scene still in. So then season 2, and I think we've had season 3 now. Season 2 was okay. It was kind of like the going to court thing. I think it's been a while since I've seen season 2, and it was all about Bryce and trying to get justice for, I can't remember the characters' names, Hannah, that's it, getting justice for her. So a lot of it was very sort of like people speaking to cameras like this and saying their part, and then lots of flashbacks. So season 2 was okay. It wasn't my favourite season. Season 3 was then who killed Bryce, and they revealed that on the trailer, so we all knew that Bryce had died. And again, it was a lot of flashbacks and a lot of who did it, and it kind of turned into like a murder mystery type thing, and I don't know what they're going to do with season 4, but I feel like I'm glad they're ending it at season 4, because really it didn't need to be any further than season 2. Like it could have just ended at season 2 really, or season 1, but they decided to make it more. I do enjoy the show. I find a lot of the characters quite relatable, as I've said before, of teenagers and in school and the struggles. So for that, it is really good, and I think the writers have done a really good job with that. The next one is another documentary series. It's called I Am a Killer. So a lot of these documentaries will be like crime related. This one is talking to the actual people that have done the crimes that are in prison. So they'll come to the bit where you can speak on the phone to people in prison, and they will say, this is what happened and this is why I did it, and then it will go and show like the footage from whenever they did it and like reconstructions and stuff. It's so interesting because there's never been a documentary speaking directly to the people that have done the crimes. So I was instantly like, wow, I need to watch this. I need to see what the people are going to say, why. And sometimes I think there was one person on that show where I actually felt empathy for the guy, because it was just a bad situation, it was a bad time, and it was kind of like, didn't mean to happen, but it happened. Whereas the others, you think, why have you done that? So there was one guy where you think, actually, listen to his side of the story. He is sorry for what he's done, and he didn't actually mean to kill the person. It's still not great what he did, but he didn't mean to kill them. So that was a really interesting watch. If you're into crime documentaries, I would highly, highly recommend this one, just because it's completely different to any other sort of crime documentary. Next one on my list is Rick and Morty. This might be an odd one, but I really enjoy Rick and Morty. It's so weird, it's good. It's animated, it's sci-fi, which again isn't my thing, but I just really enjoy it. It's just so wappy that it's good to just sort of put on and think, wow, what was that? And it sort of takes you away from reality for a little bit. So you've got Rick, who is the granddad, who's this like crazy scientist inventor guy, and then Morty, who is his grandson, and they just go on like little time traveling adventures really, and meet monsters and go to like weirder worlds and things like that. And yeah, it's just that's what it is really. There's nothing else to it. That's just it. And there's something always happens in it, and yeah, it's just crazy. So if you're into that sort of thing, that will be the show for you. Okay, the next one. This is a really popular one. Sex Education. Now, at first when this was announced, I was like, what sort of program is this going to be? Like, the title suggests something completely different, but it's a comedy drama. You've got Otis is the main character, who his mum's like a sex therapist. Like, does like sex education for people, which it makes more sense why it's called Sex Education. And it's all about him discovering sex for the first time, girls, and all that sort of thing. It was, I think, series 3. Was it series 3 or series 2? Whichever season's just been on. That ending left me really mad. And if you've seen the series, you will know what I mean. But it's got so many good things in it for young people today. So it's got like lesbians, gays, bisexuals, people that are asexual. So it's got loads of things in there that are going to educate the younger generation about different things. Because when I was a teenager, none of this asexual, non-binary thing, no one knew what it was. So if someone had said that to me as a teenager, I would have asked them what it meant, because I don't know. I wouldn't have known. So it's really good that sort of education and knowledge is being broadcast to the younger generation now. I feel that people are going to be accepted a lot more in the world, which is absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that's Sex Education. It's one of the best shows on Netflix. Like, I would highly recommend this. It's set in, it's like British, but it looks American. So it's kind of like a mixture, because in Britain we wear school uniforms, but in Sex Education they don't wear school uniforms. It's kind of got the American vibe, like the lockers and the non-uniform, but then it's set in Britain. So it's very odd on that sense. No one really knows what sort of time it's meant to be set in. But yeah, I really enjoy this series. And next thing on my list is American Horror Story. So originally I watched American Horror Story because I heard Lady Gaga was going to be in it, and obviously I'm like a massive Lady Gaga fan. So I thought, right, I'm going to start this series from the beginning. Didn't realise that every series was completely different and didn't follow on. So I didn't watch all of them because I found some of them weren't particularly my interest. So Murder House Series 1 I really enjoyed, even though I don't really like horror. I still really enjoyed the concept of this one because it says American Horror Story, so it had that horror in it, and it was about like people that went in this house and never came out because it was the murder house, and it sort of showed there was ghosts in there, and the people that moved in could see all the ghosts and speak to them and things. It was really cool. Asylum was really, really freaky. That freaked me out for ages after watching that, with the creepy doctor and all the weird patients in there. Series 3 and 4 I skipped. I tried Coven and I tried Freak Show. They just really weren't my thing. And then after that we had Hotel, which was Lady Gaga's season. And she was brilliant in that. So she played like the villain in that, who, again, killed, like, drunk people's blood, and then they stayed in the hotel forever. So it's kind of like Murder House, but was a hotel, really. Like, people went in the hotel and never left, which I thought was amazing, but it also scared me a little bit at the same time. I wouldn't want to go to a hotel for ages after watching that series of American Horror Story. And then after that, I think it came on Sky, so I watched a lot of it on Sky. The one, I can't even remember what they're all called. The one after Hotel was really weird. I didn't really like that one too much because it was just weird characters in this house again. It was so weird, and I can't really remember it. I think I like took it out of my brain. And then there was another one that was all about Donald Trump and like all this cult stuff. And then I think there was one series after that that I've seen. And then there's been a new series on Sky, but I don't currently have Sky anymore. So I'm waiting for the next series to come on Netflix. So that will be what I'll be watching when that comes out. It depends sort of what you like, because it's such a weird show. It's so freaky. You get your regular actors in it playing all these different characters. So I would tend to watch, like, read what the description is about and then watch the ones where you think, oh, I might like that one, because it really doesn't matter if you watch all of them, if you watch a few, even though some of them do link back, it doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, it's one of my favourite things, weirdly. Like, I have missed that show. I'm looking forward to it coming back. So American Horror Story is my next one. Okay, this next one, honestly one of the most surprising things on Netflix, because when I originally watched this, I was like, what is this? It doesn't look that good. It's Dead to Me. And this surprised me just because of the plot. Again, it's one I can't say too much about because it will give the entire thing away. But it's about a lady whose husband died in hit and run, and she goes to like an AA meeting, but it's not an AA meeting, where they all sit in a little circle and talk about their like bereavements and things, and then she befriends another woman going through the same thing, but then there's like a massive twist and things get found out, and it is honestly fantastic. It was like, wow, when I found out. It was brilliant. So I'm so excited for season 2. I feel like it's coming soon because it's been announced ages now, so it must be nearly ready, but who knows with the current situation that we're in. But yeah, Dead to Me, highly, highly recommend that because it is honestly brilliant. One that again surprised me. I was kind of like, I don't have anything to watch, what am I going to watch? And this is Raising Deon. This is another sci-fi, and when I read the description I was kind of like, oh, it sounds a bit like a Superman type thing, because it's a child that has these superpowers but he doesn't know how to handle it, and the mum doesn't know how to look after him and not reveal his secret. But then there's this other sort of massive thing to the story of this lightning that's sort of following and killing him, and he's got to try and get away from that. But then that has a when I say massive twist, I think I just like gasped at the TV because I honestly wasn't expecting this. Like, I'm usually quite good at figuring things out and being like, oh well, they're doing this, and this one took me completely by surprise, and I love it when a TV show does that. I can't recommend this show enough. It is absolutely brilliant. It's just that when it stuns me in such a shock like that, like, wow. I'm so hoping to do another season because it's brilliant, and it can't really end there. It's got to conclude. It has got to conclude. So that one is a high recommend from me. It was like the #1 show, and it's You. This show, like, what can I even say? I've watched season 2 over the Christmas holidays. Season 2 again was just as good as season 1. There was lots of creepy things in there. This end of season 2 was actually, again, got on a little bit of a twist at the end, which was good. Season 1 I really liked as well. It was kind of like, this is Joe, and this is him and he's stalking this girl and he follows her everywhere, but he's got this really dark side to him. And it just sort of drew me in a little bit because it's kind of like, oh, it's like a crime drama, but no one knows about this guy and he's really good at covering things up. And then it had Shay Mitchell in from Pretty Little Liars, and everyone knows that I absolutely love Pretty Little Liars, so I was like, right, I need to watch it anyway because Shay's in it, and it was brilliant. It was such a good watch. And then after that I read the book. Book number 1 was really good. Book 2, not so much, but we're not going into that. It's not a book review, but yeah, I would read the first book. But yeah, You is fantastic. It's creepy. It sort of draws you in. You want to root for Joe, weirdly. Because of the character, you think, oh, I'm not going to like this guy. But because of like the people that he kills there, you think, yeah, all right, they weren't a very nice character. He's killed them. So you kind of feel on Joe's side, which you shouldn't do. But I think that was the idea of the directing and the writing, is to get you to feel that way about a villainous character. Okay, a comedy now, sort of lighten the mood. Afterlife, which is a Ricky Gervais series, and season 2 is just about to come out this month, so I'm really excited. Afterlife was amazing. Like, it kind of had like the humour, but it also turned it around where it could be really, really sad in places, because it was about a man that's lost his wife to cancer, so she sort of left him some video messages and things that he sits and watches and looks at photos. So it's about him dealing with that grief and getting on with his life. But then the other side to it is he works for like a newspaper company, and they go around finding people that have done really strange things for the newspapers. So that's like the comedy side to it, and him just being like a bitter person with a dry sense of humour. So it's right up my street for comedy. Like, I love Ricky Gervais, I love The Office, I love everything that man's done. Like, I love the Life on the Road film. It was amazing. So Afterlife is a massive watch, and it's one of the most watched shows on Netflix. People are still talking about it today. It's so funny in places. Like, honestly, I think I just cried laughing in certain areas, but then I also cried from the emotional side. So I love it when a comedy can do that, because that just shows the fantastic writing, and Ricky Gervais is amazing. So yeah, season 2 out on the 24th of April. Get ready. Okay, another crime one. So this one is called The Confession Tapes. I wasn't too sure on whether to watch this or not at first, because I was like, oh, it's going to be like one of those documentaries that's the same as all the other murder documentaries, but it's kind of like people getting done for a crime like that they haven't done. So it's all about the people going into the police station, and whether you do the tapes and things, and they ask them things, and then they lie just so the police can hear what they want them to say. So it's kind of like Making a Murderer again, where they're getting all manipulated into saying they've done this crime when they haven't done this crime, and then the other person that has done the crime has got away with doing this crime. And it talks to like the people's family involved, saying how it's affected them and how they've tried to get them out of prison and gone to court and things like that. And it's quite eye-opening, because the police system over here is completely different to how it is in America. And sometimes I agree with what Americans do, but sometimes I disagree with what the American systems do. Like, I agree that American systems, they give them like a life sentence and it means you're never coming out of jail. When you get a life sentence over here, it's usually like 30 years, and then they get released like really early on. So that's what I think they do right. But what I don't think they do right is how they try and manipulate people, because they think this is a person that's done the crime and I'm going to make them say they've done this crime, because it ruins lives. Like, they can get arrested, be in jail for life, be on death row, and they've not even committed the crime. It's shocking. So that was really interesting to watch. And there's quite a few episodes of that, and I think they're doing another season. I think there's 2 seasons already on there. So that was quite a difficult watch, really, to see people, especially when it's like someone's girlfriend and they just instantly blame the boyfriend or something. Like, there was this one there was a fire, an arson, and they instantly just thought the boyfriend had done it, and then they realised in the end that he'd actually got an alibi that was actually true. And it was just, yeah, it's just like you wouldn't necessarily just think, oh, the boyfriend's done it. Like, that's not great detective work, is it? So that one's a really good one. I'm going to do a few more, and then I'm going to stop, and then I'll do the second half. So the next one is like a little comedy series called Working Mums. I sort of have this on in the background. I haven't finished it yet, but there are a lot of seasons on there. So it's about all these mums that have just had babies, and then they're all going back to work, and it's like the struggles and things like that, and it's just a comedy, really. It's just a light-hearted comedy, so there's not too much I can say. Just a nice American comedy if you want it on in the background. And the one I'm going to end with for this video is End of the Effing World. This was amazing. Like, the writing on this, the way it's filmed, the colour, everything, 10 out of 10. Like, blooming fantastic. This is about two guys, a guy and a girl that meet at school. Again, it's set in America, but the actors are British, so I find that a bit weird. But they meet in school, and the guy has lost his mum, and then he goes like a bit mental, and he thinks about killing people all the time. So it's kind of like, oh, I'd love to. At first he wants to kill the girl that he's met, and they go on this like little road trip thing, and he's constantly thinking like he wants to kill this girl, and then it turns around where they end up killing this guy. Sorry, spoilers, but you'll see why in a second. They end up killing this guy, and he's like a really horrible guy. Like, they find out all these things about him, and the girl ends up gets into this situation where the guy who kills him is defending her. Like, he's trying to save her, and it's kind of like a manslaughter rather than a full-on murder. And then series 2, you'll know why I've told you that in a second. Series 2 is all about being on the run because that guy's been murdered, and then they meet someone who knows the guy, who then finds out that they've killed him. So it's kind of like all rolls into one. It's fantastic viewing. It's a really short series, but it's amazing. Like, it's also on all 4 because it was shown on Channel 4 as well. So if you want to just like binge it all 4 or Netflix, whichever. But yeah, it's fantastic writing, and it's just, the way it's all done is just one of my favourite things ever. So I'm going to leave that here for now, and then the other video will come shortly after this one with the rest of my list. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do you know what? It's been so good to just sit and chill. Like, while I've got so much time, I've got so many video ideas that keep popping into my head, so I'm going to note them down and then hopefully get some more up for you, because I don't know about anyone else, but my sub box has been so full with videos. It's insane. Like, if I feel like 2014 YouTube again. I also feel like I'm in 2014 because I've rocked out my old beanie today because I'm feeling in a beanie mood. So yeah, I hope you liked the video. Thank you to any new subscribers, because again, my subscribers are slowly going up. It's a slow process, but slowly going up. So hi to any new people. I hope you liked your first video from me. If you did, give the video a like, because that tells me that you enjoy my content. Put them down, and then hopefully get some more up for you, because I don't know about anyone else, but my sub box has been so full with videos. It's insane. Like, if I feel like 2014 YouTube again. I also feel like I'm in 2014 because I've rocked out my old beanie today because I'm feeling in a beanie mood. So yeah, I hope you liked the video. Thank you to any new subscribers, because again, my subscribers are slowly going up. It's a slow process, but slowly going up. So hi to any new people. I hope you liked your first video from me. If you did, give the video a like, because that tells me that you enjoy my content. Click the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you shortly for part 3. Bye.